The pandemic and January 6th have shown us keeping Americans scared and compliant isn't just about accruing power. The fact is, fear pays. Now, few people know that better. Chertoff, former Bush 43 DHS secretary. Of course, he profits off domestic securities, industrial complex, if you want to call it that. He sits on the boards of giant defense firms and runs his own consulting companies in security, particularly cybersecurity. So why should any of us be surprised when he pops up on MSNBC today stoking fears about domestic extremism on the web and another pending attack?
I think there's a broader issue too, Casey, which is not just to look at the Capitol Police, but at all the elements of government that led up to this, and who instigated it, who financed it, and what was available to the various elements of the law enforcement and intelligence community in advance that could have been used to prevent it or to mitigate it.
How active do you think the threat to our democracy is?
This is, in fact, a very serious challenge to our democracy.
Joining me now, Matt Walsh, host of The Matt Walsh Show, and Chris Bedford, senior editor at The Federalist. Cybersecurity risk management. Manage cyber risk and security. Learn to assess systems from the mindset of an adversary. Account for implementation risks and priorities, threat prevention, and detection. He makes an enormous amount of money off the very thing he's warning against, and obviously inflating the risk post-January 6th. Unbelievable.
This is a whole industry that's been built. When I was just beginning as a young reporter at the end of the Bush administration, I was at a speech at a major conservative think tank where Michael Chertoff was there, then then director. He was talking about a new technology he was unveiling that would allow TSA agents to scan Americans and get their naked image and put it in front of a TSA agent to see every single aspect of them and determine if they were an al-Qaeda agent. Now, at the end of that speech, the entire audience stood up and cheered and applauded. All that is to say that over the last 20 years, this complex has been feeding and feeding and getting bigger and bigger. And who's been standing in the way of it? You have a lot of leaders of the GOP, as well as a lot of the leaders of the Democratic Party, that are entirely in favor of this. The fear gets them votes. The fear makes people money. It means power here in Washington, D.C. So you look at what's the difference between January 6th and the riots, the hundreds of riots we saw that actually killed dozens of people across this country. And it's a January 6th useful tool for that fear and that power. So he's going to make a lot of money on that.
Yeah, Matt, I mean, when you look at his website, and it's just all of the security industrial complex that they make millions and millions of dollars off of the very thing he's commenting on in television, yet he doesn't reveal that when he appears. It's all like he's just an objective analyst saying, well, this is a real problem and we should do something about it. It's all President Trump's fault. I mean, he didn't say that, but that was your reaction to this. I guess we shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, well, not surprised, but obviously he's got his grift going, so he's got money to make off of it. The media does as well, stoking fear about this. My question just is, if this is a huge threat posed by these right-wing, quote-unquote, insurrectionists, then why do you have to lie about it? I mean, why? We were told that it was an armed insurrection. Well, then now we find out, well, not really. We were told it's a deadly insurrection. Well, the only person that was killed was Ashley Babbitt, who was killed by a Capitol Police officer. So all of these lies, if this is a real threat, a real danger that we're under, it's kind of like the hate crime thing, where we're told that all these hate crimes happen, although we always get the hate crime, the hoax hate crimes. Well, why do you have to hoax it if this is a real epidemic? So that's my confusion.
Yeah, well, they peddle fear, and look, the virus. There was a lot of reasons for people to be worried about it, but there are a lot of reasons that people thought there could be decent treatments for the virus too. But when you stoke the fear, other people on the other side can make a lot of money. You can't discount any of that. And I got to get to this shocking story, guys. Human Events has uncovered a deleted archive of tweets belonging to a military commander named Andrew Rhodes, commander of the 1-8 Infantry Fighting Eagles. Ran a private, woke, left-wing Twitter account under the name Drew. What's more, he reportedly said at a military function that if you're white, you're part of the problem. If you're a white male, you are part of the problem. Chris, why should Republicans keep, voting for this woke defense industrial complex, given how it's working against classic and traditional American values and just fairness?
And this is a major problem because what this system seeks to do is divide us by race. And it's extremely successful in that. We've seen what it's done in our cities, in our communities, to our police, to our politicians. And to have that level of distrust and division in our military is the opposite of what makes a cohesive fighting force and needs to be tackled now.
Gentlemen, thank you.